Hey guys, excited as always to bring you live with Richie Khandelwal from the Price Labs team. And he's the CEO of Price Labs. He's hooking us up all the time with Price Labs, and he's done a great job of just bringing value every single month for us. So if you have not already seen all of the great value that Richie has brought, you can go over to fearlesskyle.com/Price Labs and see all of our previous conversations. Plus, if you want to be a member of Price Labs, you can get a link there. But by the way, if you're not a member of Price Labs, you want a nice 25% discount right off the get-go, you can do that by being a part of the six-figure formula at fearlesskyle.com/6FF. But Richie, excited to have you on today, man, because the topic, although maybe not super conventional in what we usually talk about in the short-term rental industry, I think this is a pretty powerful thing for people to know, which is comping your STR rates to hotel prices. So tell me a little bit about why you thought this feature on Price Labs was important before we actually go into showing it.
Absolutely, absolutely. See, at the end of the day, comping or benchmarking your prices against your competition is very very critical because it helps you understand what are your business's strength and weaknesses, what are the trends, where should you be potentially maybe moving certain things, etc. Right, and also setting some realistic goals, right? What is the price that you can expect today in market, right? And so that's something that you always want to benchmark, right? Whether
Mm-hmm.
that's other STRs or whether that's hotels, right? Now we've been doing competitive benchmarking for STRs for a while. You could see that in our neighborhood data. You could see that via market dashboards, and I think we've done a video on it before. What we wanted to introduce was how do you comp yourself against hotel data or hotel prices? We often get this request from people who are in cities with a bunch of hotels around them, or
Mm-hmm.
you're right at Miami beach and you have a few large hotels around you. You maybe have a serviced apartment unit and you have a bunch of other hotels. How do you comp against that, right? Maybe you're
Right.
in Cancun and you're right on the hotel strip, right? And you know there are a bunch of hotels, but you also own an apartment in one of those hotels. How do you price against that, right? So you want to know how the other hotels are doing, and so that was a big reason for us to introduce. Now we also take this hotel data that we're going to show into how we price your STR units anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
But knowing and seeing what they're doing, are there certain high demand periods that hotels are pricing already that we might not yet be, because STRs are not seeing it? Are there any big discounts that hotels are starting to introduce, right? Are there any things that they're doing that we should actively be looking at? And that comprises of why hotel data. And oftentimes question that I hear lately is should my prices, like I'm not getting any occupancy, should my prices be lower, right? In some markets we're starting to see there is a little bit of cool down effect on ADRs, right? 2022 2021 we had very high nightly rates, and
Right.
in 2023 because of some slowdown we are starting to see some of those rates slow down, right? And looking at your competitors sometimes gives you a better comfort rather than just saying should I be dropping my rates. You want to look at
Right.
where are my competitors at, and you eventually net you may want to charge whatever you want to charge, but if everyone around you is not charging as much, then that may not then you may want to reduce prices, right?
Yeah, I think the key thing there is, I would say in 2020 to 2022, I wouldn't even have assumed hotels to be a competitor for
Yeah,
per se, just because Airbnb was such a hot way to travel for those three
yeah,
years, especially after COVID. Now people are like, well, wait, hotels aren't charging all the fees that Airbnb is, and they're not charging the cleaning fees. And so they've become a little bit more of a competitor
yeah.
than they were a couple of years ago. And for that reason, I think it does make a lot of sense to make sure that, hey, if I'm renting, whether you're renting out a studio or a 5-bedroom, am I renting out something that's going to be competitively priced to hotels or even better price? Plus, they get all the extra amenities that you wouldn't typically get in a hotel. So, Richie, without further ado, why don't you go ahead and show us this feature, and let's take a look at how to use this.
Alrighty, let me figure out if I can figure out the sharing screen this time.
Yeah,
Cool. Do you see my screen, Kyle?
I do.
Alrighty, fantastic. Cool. This is the normal screen that you'd probably hop into when you're in Price Labs, when you're using Price Labs. You'd see all of your properties and you'd see a bunch of information. Ignore my metrics looking so bad. This is a dummy account. But if you'd click review prices, you'd go to the listings calendar that typically pops up. What I've done is I've already opened up a new tab that lists this hotel data, and I'm going to hop into that new tab so that we can directly talk about hotel data, right? But calendar tab where you can see your monthly rates, neighborhood data where you can compare your rates against other STRs in the market, and this hotel data where we are getting data from booking.com. And what you can see is what is the rates of any other hotels around you compared to your own property. Now, by default we start with 10 closest hotels, but when you hop into this hotel data tab, you'd see it like this. If you click show map, you can see all of the hotels, and I say hotels but it's booking.com's inventory. Some of this could actually be STRs, some of this could be even campgrounds, whatever, right?
Hmm.
But we get that inventory, and so if you click on any of these dots, it will actually take you to booking.com and you can see what it is. For example, in this case, I guess it's a hotel, maybe an inn. I don't know how you'd classify that, right? Um, but you can see that inventory very easily on what that inventory is. In this case, what I've done is, say my property is here, and I wanted to compare against a bunch of other Marriotts in my area, and so I went in, and at the top of the screen, I selected Marriott, and I wanted to select a bunch of Marriotts together. So I've selected this Marriott, and I wanted to select this Marriott that is 3 kilometers away. And then let me just see if there is this Marriott Beach Place Tower, and let me select one more. Let me go with this one, right? This is not a real comp set. Ideally, you want to compare whatever you think people are typically searching for in comparison to your property when they're
Right.
looking at your neighborhood, right? But if you do that, and if you click update data, what you'd see is these. What we'd go to booking.com and we'd fetch all of these prices. This is, of course, your listings prices that is in Price Labs that you're seeing. Ignore this is dummy data right now. And then you'd see all of these prices that I've pulled for all of these hotels from booking.com. And again, it can go up to 365 days into the future.
Okay.
Um, our default view is stable. You can also click into graph, and you can see this in a graph view as well,
There we go.
uh, to see how your property is priced versus how the rest of hotels are priced, right?
And the
Now, in this
black one is
case,
ours.
the black one is ours, right?
Yeah.
Now, mine's like, this is again a dummy property. You can see at the top here, it's a 3 bedroom. So, of course, I kind of want to charge
Mhm.
3x of what the hotels are charging, right? Maybe a little bit less.
Well, and
Um,
go back to the graph there just for a second. What I like about this is it shows the same concepts that we talk about in our STR business, which is for further out bookings, you can see how those prices just start to go up, right? And that's always been a concept that I like to teach. A lot of people think, oh, for further out
exactly.
bookings, I want to reduce my prices. No, no, we want to increase those prices. We want to get the premium bookers who are going to
Exactly.
book out, 6 months in advance. So
Exactly. Yeah.
that's good data to see.
I don't know what this Marriott Beach Tower is. I think this
Mhm.
is not actually a Marriott property,
Mm.
right? But if you look at, you're absolutely right, right? Like if I look at, for example, Residence Inn by Marriott, right? They're all flat priced, flat priced, flat priced, and then suddenly around, I guess 6 months from now, right? Their
Mhm.
prices just jump up and then they stay up, right? Because they don't want to book those too early. Similarly, if I look at this Courtyard by Marriott, you're absolutely right, right? Like they're in that 190s, 180s, and then as the days get farther up, those prices keep on increasing,
Yep.
right? And then our black line, of course, we
Yep.
want to keep our prices higher farther out, right?
Cool.
If Courtyard Marriott today wants to book at 290, there is no reason for us to book at 400, right? We want to
Mm.
be an X number of Courtyard Marriott,
Yeah.
for
So
example.
I guess the thing that I take from that is yes, we can use this to make sure that we're priced correctly within our comps,
Yeah,
for the next foreseeable 30 days, 60 days.
yeah,
But having that affirmation of, hey, hotels are also raising prices for far out bookings. So I should probably do the same thing. I think that's probably a few people watching right now are going to have some aha moments that maybe have been giving discounts for further out stays. Anyway, continue,
Yeah.
Richie.
And for example, like if I was to, I don't have the right comp set here. Let me just pull, for example, the closest 10 hotels, and then we'd see something better happen here. So if I pull these 10 closest properties, or
Mhm.
4 or 5 closest properties, you'd see things a little bit more in line to saying, again, I'm 3x the price, but
Right.
you'd see prices a little bit more closer. Residence Inn is charging twice casitas, and you can also make a call in terms of saying, where do you stand between casitas and residence inn, right? are
Mhm.
you are you better, are you worse off, where do you stand, and how do users perceive it, and do you want to be an x number of that, right?
Yeah.
So that allows you. The
Cool.
second thing that you'd also notice, and this is more complex, and if you're specifically into revenue management, you may want to look into this. Is if I this prices that I'm pulling today is for a 1 night stay. If I
Mhm.
wanted to see, say for example, a 7 night stay, and if I update this data, these prices will change because hotels change based on the number of days that you're staying, and there is a lot of complex algorithm that goes in behind the number of days that you're staying at a hotel. For us, we do length of stay pricing with some of property management softwares, and over time, I think this is a feature that will come into Airbnbs and short-term rentals in the next year, 2 year, 3 years, where we
Mhm.
want to do this generally. But what you're seeing is, if I wanted to stay for a longer date, one Bayview apartment, I just can't stay naturally because these dates were already blocked, and then so I can't stay a 7 day night anymore, right? And then
Right.
if I wanted to say 7 nights, what would my price be? Versus if I just wanted to stay 1 night, my price generally would be higher or lower depending on whether it's a weekday, whether it's a weekend, what do they expect bookings to look like, right?
Mhm.
So you'd also see a bunch of length of stay innovation happening at price labs over the course of year and 2 years, as some of our short-term rental
Right.
channel providers, right?
Mhm.
VRBOs, Airbnbs adopt more and more of this length of stay. But
Yeah,
what I
and I
wanted to
think
leave you with, yeah,
I was
sorry,
gonna say, I think it makes sense to do that knowing your own bookings, right? If I'm
yeah,
gonna try to do a studio or a one bedroom and I typically get 30, 60, 90-day stays, I don't want to compare it to one night stays from a hotel. But if I get typically 3 night stays on the weekends only, I might want to compare it to a 2 or 3 night stay hotel, um,
exactly,
like for like,
exactly.
right?
Exactly. Whatever length of stay you typically go with is what you'd want to
Mhm.
select this length of stay as.
Cool.
Yeah. So this is what I wanted to introduce. Hopefully, you guys will find this valuable to be able to compare your prices against hotels. Tell Kyle, tell me how are you using it? Any challenges that you're facing? We'd love to hear. We'd love to improve and continue to improve how we serve the STR community.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think just the continued improvement of data all the time from you guys. I'll say this to people, right? Like
Yeah.
if you are just starting with Price Labs, keep it simple, right?
Yeah.
Like don't start, you have your first property and you're like, "Oh, how do I use hotel data?" No, no, no. Just let's focus on the minimum price. Let's focus on the base price, and let's
Yeah.
focus on maybe some of those like length of stay discounts or length of stay requirements, and
Yeah.
that's about it. And compare it to your neighborhood data or use that set your base price. Don't get bogged down with like the competitor calendar and the hotel stuff and like the advanced customizations. Just do the basics,
Yeah.
get really good at it, and then start testing some of these things out, right? Like it's like getting a new car. You know how to put it in
Exactly.
park, you know how to put it in reverse, you
Yeah.
know how to put it in drive, you know how to turn it on. That's all you need to worry about. Oh, I've driven it for a week now. Let's see if I can figure out how to do the Bluetooth. Let's see if I can figure out how to do all these other
Yeah.
features. And so that's exactly how you want to approach Price Labs. And again, if you are ready to get started with Price Labs, or if you just want more value from understanding how to use your Price Labs account, you're definitely going to want to check out fearlesskyle.com/price labs, where we have put all of these recordings in one nice little place for you so that you don't have to go searching for it on our YouTube channel. So, Richie, as always, man, just
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
all the innovation,
Yeah.
appreciate all the value bringing to everyone, and congrats on the new feature.
Thank you so much. Hopefully, people find it helpful and would love to hear what your community is saying about this.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Every single month, we're coming here with Richie, so be on the lookout.